Hey guys, today I'm going to give you a list of everything you need to start forging. Now, the great thing about forging is you really need next to nothing to start doing it. Really, all you need is a forge, a hard surface, and a hammer. Now, the first hammer I ever used for forging was one that had a face like this. Now, this is actually a roofing hatchet, but you know the kind of hammer I'm talking about that has this face on it. That's the kind of hammer I used, and it works. I used that for a few months, and then I got this hammer. This one's a little bigger, a lot heavier, and I still use this one today when I'm doing really bulky projects or I need to take something down that's going to take a while. But just recently, you're not going to need one like this for a very long time, but I got this hammer. Now this is a rounding hammer that I got at Outwoods for around $50. Now that's pretty cheap for a good blacksmithing hammer, but I've gotten a lot of good use out of it already, and it's pretty good. Now, as far as tongs go, I got this pair a few years ago, and the thing about tongs is there's so many different kinds, for picking up different sized objects. Now this kind is for picking up bars, like this rebar right here. It holds it pretty good because it has those divots in it, but I do not have any horseshoes with me right now. But that is specifically what this is for, holding horseshoes. I've been doing some stuff with horseshoes, but I got these at Woods too. You could use these to hold just about anything if you wanted to put these in your forge and just bring these out a few inches. But the first pair of tongs I ever used was something like this. Now this probably wouldn't work if you were using a gas forge due to the dragon's breath, but if you've never forged before and you want to make a quick little brick forge, it only takes a few minutes, and all you need is any kind of grill, charcoal, and a hairdryer and a few bricks. You'll have a forge that you can use for a long time, and I've made a few of those for my friends, and it works really good. I'm going to make a tutorial, hopefully not too long, on how to do that, but this works really well with that because there's not these flames coming out of it, because you can turn the air off and the coals will settle until you need to go back and turn it on, so then you can get close and pick up your metal with something like this. Now, this probably won't work too good. Well, you can kind of hold the rebar like that, but it's going to be pretty hard. Well, yeah, see, like anything like this, even with this is probably like half-inch rebar right here. Yeah, that would work. And the first thing I'd recommend making anything out of is half-inch rebar. You can get something like this, a little longer than this, for about $2 at Lowe's. This is what I still make stuff out of this. I've made mini hatchets and all kinds of knives and stuff out of rebar, and so I want to do lots of projects on how to make stuff out of rebar just because I think it's amazing starter material. Now, once you move up to an actual anvil, anvils, all you really need for an anvil is a hard surface. I've seen people use stumps, rocks. It's crazy. You can see videos of African tribes using rocks as anvils and rocks as hammers. Now, I have a big anvil with a stand, and I have this tiny anvil that's made from a railroad track. Now, if you're gonna go and buy an actual anvil, you want to make sure that the surface is very, very flat, and that's the mistake I made when buying my actual anvil. The face has divots and everything in it. Now that's okay until you get down to the fine details of making something. So when buying an actual anvil, make sure it has a flat surface. But you could use a stump. My first close to actual anvil was an actual railroad track, not this, but it was a railroad track those work really well. If you can find some of those, you might be able to find one at a scrap sale or something. But really the only tool you need for sharpening at first is just a metal file like this. I've made knives without using any grindstone, no sandpaper, anything. It was just my coal forge, my little tongs, and that hammer with that face, and a file like this. That's really all you need to start making knives. And but once you start getting into actual anvils, I found this in my dad's yard, just under the dirt, so it has to be pretty old, but this is a hardy. You stick this in the little square part of your anvil, and you can set your hot metal on top of it and hit it with your hammer and cut it. There's all kinds of different shapes of hardies for bending metal different ways and cutting it different ways, and they're a really useful tool, but you won't need any of those until you get an actual anvil. But another thing, you don't really need one for when you're just starting, but it comes in useful later. A wire brush is for taking scale off metal. Like if you're making a knife and you get it pretty thin and you see like the little spots that aren't hot, you can tell because they're gray and they're like flaky, and if you do that on it and you take those off, because if you hammer those into your knife, you can get delaminations and cracks towards the end. So it's a good idea to, like, when you're in the end stages of forging, take your wire brush and just go over it like that. But yeah, as far as everything you need to start forging, it's really all you need is metal file. You can get these for like $2 at some places. A pair of pliers, and if this were like an actual like nail hammer. But that's really all you need, that and a forge. But thank you for watching. I hope that this helped somebody. If it helped one person, then it was worth it. And forging is just a really great thing to do. I've learned so much doing it. It's really one of my favorite things to do. And so hope you liked it, and like and subscribe if you want to. And peace out.